Hey crew, it's Pitt, and I'm back with another game update. So, this has been an eventful couple of weeks. The last time we left off, I was doing landscape, getting into effects, learning how Niagara systems work. That's all good, knowledge acquired, but Unreal has released 5.3, and 5.3 is a big update because it gives me the opportunity to do some randomization that I wouldn't be able to do otherwise. And so, I'm integrating into 5.3 starting now. I also was using a program called Ascent Combat Framework, and while it is a great program, for what it's worth, the growth and updates for it was not where I wanted to be. So we have taken a good step back in the progress. So I'm not going to be meeting my release date deadlines, but while things have changed, that just means we're going in a new direction, and that direction is coding. I'm going to be actually coding my own system, and let me transition back here. This is the game, right? This is Swords, Boards, and Magic 2. That is the system that I am developing, and the system that I am developing, I want to be user-friendly. I want people to be able to mod their own situations, to make their own scenarios. And in order to do that, I could not stay with Ascent Combat Framework. The guy Pask, he's a great guy. He's doing his own thing at his own tempo, and he's adding to what I bought. And what I need to do is more expansive because he doesn't want this to be what I want it to be. I want people to be able to freely take what I do after they buy the game and run with it, right? He would require that everybody would buy his add-on before they could do their mods. And while that's not a big deal to somebody that's got a lot of money to throw around, I'm looking at selling this game for like $20-30. His system's several $100s. And so the disparity there is significant for my consumer, right? I want you to be able to take this and do with it what you want, because this is a replacement for another system out there. Swords, Boards, and Magic 2 is a more basic outline for role-playing situations in a single-player environment. I hope to expand to multiplayer. I'm not sure if I'll be able to do that, but the code that I am writing is going to be able to do that. If not now, then eventually. But I'm trying to put in as much multiplayer now as I can, so that it can be expanded into a multiplayer feature where you can go into dungeons that you design using my assets and build your own scenarios for your tabletop game to run through, and have your people, wherever they happen to be able to play a tabletop game, maybe without the dice mechanics that we're so familiar and have much fun with, but I'm going to handle that part for you in this coding, right? So I want my stat system to be fairly easy to understand. I want you to be able to even create your own abilities and do things I've never thought of, because I think that's what makes a franchise that I am building. I think that's what makes it great, is when you can incorporate people that love to play it into the actual game, and maybe even release some of their stuff and cut them in on the profits on it, and make the whole thing synergetic, make everybody rise at once, because we like to do that around here. And the coding in myself will allow me to do that, and so I am deep in the process of learning how to do the coding, right? It's not an easy process to just pop off with, but it's not overly complicated if you can grasp the basics of it. I can grasp the basics of it. I am not at give a tutorial level yet, but I'm getting to the point where I might be able to do that at some point in the future and help somebody else understand the things that you have to implement. Now, a lot of this that you're seeing, I didn't build it. Unreal does that for you. The player controller systems come with automatic functions. There are things that are automatically built into the Unreal Engine. And when you select to build a game using C++, it pops in this code. Well then, like this area right here, this came from them. right? Well, this part right here I actually put in, but they put in a lot of this. But you can add in functionality to specific things inside the code in an easier way if you understand what's going on. I'm getting to the point where I understand a little bit of that, of what is actually going on inside the code. Gas is enabled. I'm about to start today building my abilities back again from scratch this time. Last time I was taking past abilities and trying to put my stuff on top of it. And it's been a long time trying to make my stuff work with his integration, because he's got his game and his way of making things work, and it's not necessarily the same way that I'm doing. And while he is building a framework that is implementable, if you don't know how to go in here and change things, if you can't go inside this code and change things specifically for your game in his system, it does you no good. And there are things that I'm trying to implement that's not in his system, and there's no telling if it will be. And if I go in and do this myself and I build it, then I can have control of that and I understand how it works. And so we're starting on abilities today, long story short. So that's a significant step back, y'all. I wanted to make sure that y'all understood that I don't just show victories on here, right? I spent a lot of money on that. And I don't consider it a waste, because I learned a lot of things from using his system and figuring out what I need to make my system now work. This is going to set me back a few weeks. This is not a shut it down type of situation. It's going to be a few weeks of setback. But while I was working out what to do with this, because that was not a light decision to make, but when 5.3 came out, it really sealed the deal, right? 5.3 is a much better system than 5.2 even. And there are things integrated, like the random spawns and the way that you can procedurally generate dungeons, and all of those things are now built into the engine. You no longer need to have an outsourced plug-in for that. That is a major improvement into the engine. It's as much of an improvement into the engine as Lumen was with the lighting, or as much as the the way they do the 3D rendering now. So it's broken into smaller pieces, and it's lightning speeds faster than the other iterations that Unreal 4 was. While I was doing all that, I got my paper maps done. So this is all the paper maps. Y'all can't really see them, but I did show that on TikTok. So if you want to look at TikTok, you can see the maps up close. I have my main characters are on the maps. You can see that in the TikTok. We will be starting here. That's a little bit of a gameplay change. This is actually going to be Atlantis. There's going to be variations on this. This is a general concept map, right? But here we're going to meet the reptilians and the greys, the two of the created races by the Anunnaki. We have Enlil and Enki, both reside on Atlantis, and they're kind of vying for control. And so we're going to be coming into the tail end of that conflict between the two brothers there. We're also going to meet Poseidon and Amphitrite, which was his wife, and they're going to be some main characters in here. We're going to pick up the beginnings of our team that is going to be going around. We will probably run into Carl Randallson and maybe Pim Tool and several of the other guys that are going to be part of our expeditionary force. And we're going to see if we can't start getting things moving along in that direction. So the maps are done. I'm figuring out the route and the storyline that needs to happen so that we can pick up what we need to along the way and fill Marduk's handbag. And then we're going to try and find Tiamat's Labyrinth and unlock the pyramid that's there and go into the Labyrinth and all of those things. So we'll figure that out as we go along. I just wanted to pop in and give y'all a quick, hey, this is what's up, this is what's going. We did take a significant step back this sec, right? The not being able to use that was kind of heartbreaking for a minute, because I had invested a lot of money in that, and I don't really have a lot of money to invest. And I see it as training. It was just the same as if I had paid for training. Although, if I'd have just paid for training, I'd have probably come out a little bit better in the deal. Regardless, it's nothing impossible. We are going to be head down in this for a while. And if you can see what we're looking at, like, head down in this is, well, not all of these are as complicated yet as they are going to be. But there's a lot that's getting done in here. And now we're building abilities, and that's where it really gets a little bit complicated. But this was just a quick pop in to let y'all know what was going on. Hopefully y'all are interested and want to see what's happening. If not, then that's cool too, I guess. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate every single minute that you are here with me, and I am praying for you every single day. Until next time, I love you. You are perfect, whole, and complete just the way that you are. And this has been Pittstake. Peace.